Hello, my friend, and welcome to Something for Everybody. My name is Aaron Machbitz, and today is a solo episode of the podcast where I'm discussing 5 ways to live in the present moment more often. And a lot of these insights are developed by one of my favorite people to study, which is Dr. Michael Gervais, and he explains how to live in the present moment more often. And I have learned a ton from his podcast and his research and his findings and his insights, and I would love to share them with you guys. So that's why I'm doing this episode today. 5 ways to live in the present moment more often. So let's get right into it. It's pretty obvious when we spend a moment or 3 thinking about it, but it's worth reminding ourselves of the fact that the only moment we ever truly have is this moment and this one. We live our lives moment to moment. Our past, that's just a collection of past presents that lead to our current realities. If we want a better future, we need to create a better collection of current presents. In short, we want to create a better future and enjoy life right now. Make this moment awesome. When we talk about living in the present moment, unlocking your potential, or even achieving happiness, the bad news is there's no hacks, tricks, or shortcuts. The good news is that you put in the work, you can create what most people are striving for in life: meaning and purpose, deep connection to others, freedom of time and money, more energy, performing toward the upper limits of your potential, and fulfillment. There are many ways to live in the present moment, but here are 5 practices developed by Dr. Gervais that you can implement into your daily life starting today. So number 1 is to reprogram your brain and thought processes. We have the ability to control our thoughts, which is a linchpin for consistent high performance and growth. So our default state, or our natural state of our minds, is kind of like a drunk monkey, which tens of thousands of thoughts running through our heads each day. In these modern times, our ancient brains are trying to figure out survival, which involves a healthy amount of scanning the world to find real or perceived threats. Without conditioning our mind, it's very easy for the fear and survival-based brain to overwhelm the quality of our thinking patterns, leading to excessive worry, frustration, distraction, and negativity. These patterns of thought radically drain our emotional and physical resources. So to level up, the very cool thing is that we can control our thoughts by building awareness of this type of thoughts we're having. So it begins with awareness. We can guide them to be more productive, bringing us closer to our potential or the best version of ourselves, as well as increasing energy and joy. So to get started, to get moving, to put in the work towards living in the present moment more often, set a timer and spend 5 minutes each day indexing your thoughts as you have them. Just watch your thoughts. Then categorize them as positive and productive, or negative and unwelcomed. When the negative or unwelcome thoughts creep in, say hello and goodbye to them, and or redirect them with a more positive or productive thought. Eventually, over time, because practice makes improvement, you will create a habit of having more naturally occurring, productive, and energy-generating thoughts. Don't stress or judge yourself during this process. The key is the practice and the process of observance. I've spoken about this a lot. Awareness, acceptance, action. That's what's happening in these ideas. These 5 ways are getting you more aware. They're bringing to you acceptance that this is your reality, and then they're giving you the action that has to go with it. Again, there's no hacks, tricks, or shortcuts. It's just persistent, deliberate work over time to reprogram some of these things so you can live in the present moment more often. And we know in the present moment, that's where all wisdom and greatness and love is expressed. So we want to be in the present moment. There's a beautiful saying from AA that goes, if you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you are peeing on the present moment. We don't want to pee on the present moment. We want to be in the present moment. And another one that I tell my athletes all the time is this quote from Bill Belichick. If we live in the past, we die in the present. That's especially true in an athletic performance or any sort of performance where you need to be 100% present moment focused. And so to train that, we have to train that to be able to do that in these certain high pressure, quote unquote, situations where the situation demands our 100% present moment focus. Okay, we have number 2, which is prioritize recovery. When you change your thoughts, your behaviors can change and you can live in the present moment more often. What's our default state? Our default state, it's part of the modern day workforce to prioritize work results over our mental and physical health. But as we all know, there is a cost, a very significant cost. By cutting down on sleep and neglecting hydration and proper nutrition, we are taking a short-term approach to a long-term proposition, which is human potential, let alone sustained high performance. The short and long-term outcomes are better when we place more emphasis on durable and flexible mental state. Optimized recovery is part of this process. I've said this before, but part of the hard work is recovery. Because if I'm not recovering, then I'm not able to give 100% each day. If I'm not able to give 100% each day, then I'm not getting to the edge of my capacity every single day. So sleep, rest, recovery are all part of the work. They're part of optimizing and actualizing our potential. When we are sleep deprived, we're actually functioning at a lower level. We know that, but it's really unbeknownst to our conscious awareness. So we might think we're doing A+ work, but deep down, we actually know, like, I didn't get enough sleep and I'm really not performing, but I'm magically one of those people who can get off or who can get away with getting 4 hours of sleep every night. Okay? No, most people are not that way. 8 hours of sleep is ideal for almost everyone. Okay, and we really have to make that a priority. So we might think we're doing A+ work when really our brain is conserving its output by working at a substandard level. So how do we level up? Well, there are many pillars to recovery, from sleep to our nutrition to rest to hydration. I like to think it as eat well, move well, sleep well, and think well. That's how I like to think about it. It simplifies it. Those are the most important pillars that I want to focus on, and I want to do at least 1 or 2 things for those pillars every day to maximize my energy and to maximize my recovery of eating, moving, sleeping, and thinking well. So, trying to change all that at once can be very overwhelming. As we know, we want to make these habits too small to fail. So instead, focus on one small thing from one pillar to change today. Investing in changing one habit can often lead to positive effects in other choices we are making. Incorporating recovery into our daily routine takes only a split second to decide. So get started. Right? How to get started? Begin by tracking one of the recovery pillars. It could be how much water you drink each day for a week. It could be how many hours of sleep you had the night before or minutes of meditation you practiced. To get a new habit to stick, you first have to really want it. So you have to think about the why underneath the habit. So if you really do want to live in the present moment more often, or you really do want to actualize your potential, or you really do want to be the best version of yourself in greatest service of the world, then you have to focus on these recovery metrics. You have to focus on the foundational pillars of being a human being, of eating well, of moving well, sleeping well, and thinking well. And you have to be honest. Do you really want it? Do you really want it? If so, here's one way to increase the chances of making it stick. Tie your habit to one you already have. For instance, if the pillar you want to train is drinking more water, tie it to a morning routine like brushing your teeth. Your trigger for drinking extra water will then be, every time I brush my teeth, right after I will drink 2 glasses of water. If this, then what? An algorithm that helps that habit stick. If I brush my teeth, then I drink 2 glasses of water. Every time I brush my teeth, right after I'll drink 2 glasses of water. You're tying a behavior that you want to start doing to the end, you're anchoring it to the end of a behavior that you already do. So it becomes algorithmic. It just becomes part of your life, and you're making that habit too small to fail. You're sticking on one thing and you're following it all the way through. Number 3, give up, balance, and perfection. Working hard is no longer the differentiator for success. It is a requirement though. Working hard is a requirement though. Our default state really in today's digital world, many of us are working long hours and the bar for success is ever rising. Trying to be the top earner, best parent, perfect spouse, etc. is a potential recipe for burnout. By trying to be everything to everyone, we lose touch with who we are and instead mold to other people's opinions of what we should be. So to level up, to get out of that default state, rather than trying to do more, focus on being more. This can sound strange or abstract, but understanding who we are and what we stand for helps guide our thoughts, feelings, and actions. One of the best ways to do this is by training awareness, acceptance, action. To be in the present moment more often. Mindfulness training is a powerful way to do this. Mindfulness is a skill that can become a state of mind, eventually a trait of being. So again, we're switching less from doing more to being more, into the being mode. Who am I being? My identity is my repeated beingness. So to get started, there are hundreds of different mindfulness and breathing protocols that people have studied, but let's try and keep it really simple. This is one again from Dr. Michael Gervais. Set a timer on your phone for 1 minute and just close your eyes and follow your breath for 1 minute. Each breath can take about 12 seconds, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Try it once a day for a week. This simple breath helps with focus and presence. Taking you into the mode of being versus doing. That's awareness, acceptance, action. Training this mindfulness, training this idea of being in the being mode more often. Number 4, enhance your culture. Whether you realize it or not, we're part of many cultures in our everyday lives. So our sort of default state is our workplaces, families, hobbies, sports teams, friend groups, all have a set of rules and expectations they operate by. The most durable cultures are the ones that are relationship based. People within the group truly care for one another and collectively work toward a shared mission from that perspective. Living the good life, 2 things. We've already touched on both of them. Living the good life and being as happy as possible, according to Harvard, is 2 things. Great health and great relationships. Right here, culture, the best cultures are relationship based. People within the group truly care for one another. That's what we're trying to get to. Inconsistently performing cultures act out of fear, making mistakes, intolerance, or upsetting others. So, if we want to level up, our actions greatly determine the tone and feeling of our cultures. Learn how your culture operates and how you can positively create more impact. Here are some actionable tips from Dr. Michael Gervais. Get started by write down all the cultures you are a part of. Again, this can be family, hobbies, sports, groups, religious, whatever it is. For each culture, write down 1 or 2 positive actions that frequently occur. 3, list the emotions that these actions elicit. And then 4, once you've identified the action and the positive emotion, make an intention to do that action more often. Be about it. Awareness, acceptance, action. The action part is being about it. Because your culture matters. Again, living the good life is 2 things. Great health and great relationships. And the cultures you're a part of constitute those relationships. And we want to be very intentional about the cultures we're in and driving them to be relationship driven, relationship first, so we can create those beautiful, long-lasting, powerful relationships. Because great relationships and great conversations help you live in the present moment more often. Number 5, last one, Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude and practice optimism. Optimism and gratitude. Optimism and gratitude. By seeking the good in things instead of the bad, we change our mindsets from being critical to optimistic. Our default state is simple. People know that. People who consciously point out the good things have more naturally occurring positive thoughts and fewer negative ones. By practicing optimism and gratitude, we can make looking for the good part of our DNA. Hunt the good stuff. Be a researcher of the good. All of these things. Gratitude aids in a perspective shift in our lives. And we see both gratitude and optimism practices across the board for high performers. I have not seen a person who is achieving very, very high level things at an elite level not be optimistic, because I think optimism is the foundation for mental toughness, because optimism is the fundamental belief that things will work out for the best. Even when we're down and out, even when we're in the trenches, we fall 7, rise 8, because optimism is about hunting the good stuff. It's being a researcher of the good. Gratitude is about being appreciative of everything you have in this world. And both of these, gratitude and optimism, help us live in the present moment more often and help us still go after the things that we truly want. But it's based in this optimistic and grateful mindset of what we already do have in our lives. And that's extremely powerful. And so if we want to level up, we got to start off by getting a fresh journal. And you can name it your gratitude journal, your optimism journal, your researcher of the good journal, your hunt the good stuff journal, whatever it is. But by creating a daily gratitude and optimism journal, we fire up this optimism and gratitude circuitry, because we have to rewire our brain to hunt the good stuff. This practice is an antidote to anxiety and a foundation to joy, happiness, kindness, and peace. So here's how I recommend doing it. You want to write in your gratitude or optimism or hunt the good stuff journal twice a day, in the morning and at night. So in the AM, you want to think of a few things that you're grateful for, right? A few things that you really appreciate in this world, whether it's your family, your health, your food, your brain, your body, your relationships. You don't need to make a huge checklist, but just a few of the most important things that you're really truly grateful for. Like when you write them down or feel them or think them, like you have this sensation of love and appreciation roll through you. And you have to make sure to really feel into these things. This helps you start off the day with the right mentality. And then towards the end of the day, this is when you get into the optimism journal, or building this optimism into your life, this mental toughness. Towards the end of the day, you're going to write down 3 good things that you experience throughout the day. This is hunting the good stuff. This could be anything from someone smiling at you to the checkout line to someone cooking you dinner, or you saw a friend, or whatever the case may be. Just 3 good things, amazing things that you experienced throughout the day. And these practices will help you look for what's good in the world and train you to be more optimistic. And so that's how you live in the present moment more often. Those are the 5 ways. So start small with these 5 habits. Consistency and practice with intention is more important than checking off the boxes. Really hear that one more time. Consistency and practice with intention is more important than checking off the boxes. If you begin to layer these practices in your life, you'll see the results start to blossom. The past is the past, but it has given birth to the present, and the present contains roots of the future. This means that you must build your future in advance by improving the present. Be here now. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers. Thank you very much for tuning into that episode. And if you enjoyed it, click right here for another full-length episode of the podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe. But most importantly, above all else, please take good care of yourselves and others. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers.